Hi, and welcome to Closing Remarks, where we have conversations with Compass agents about the knowledge behind their success, the strategies that shape their business, and their impact on the industry. Enjoy this episode. Hi, and welcome to Closing Remarks, a brand new podcast where we have conversations with Compass agents about their craft, their community, and their competitive edge. First of all, I'd like to talk a little bit about Compass before we kick off our interview today. For the past 4 years, Compass has dominated the market as a leading national brokerage in sales volume, achieving this through a strategic $1.5 billion investment in our end-to-end platform. This cutting-edge technology empowers over 33,000 real estate agents, the best real estate agents across the country, who last year in Greater Nashville alone secured over $8.72 billion in sales volume. Amazing.
I didn't know that number. Yeah.
So today on our podcast, we have our very first episode of the podcast. We have a very special guest, founder of the Jernigan Group at Compass and Diamond Elite producing real estate agent, Megan Jernigan. Hi, Megan.
Thanks for having me.
Of course.
Thanks for having me.
And her sales manager and broker, Kristy King.
Hello.
Hi, Kristy. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And thank you guys for being our very first guest on our very first episode
Thanks
of
for
Closing
having us.
Remarks.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Yeah.
Okay, well, to kick things off, Megan, tell us just a little bit about yourself.
Oh, okay. The bullet points. I have been doing real estate for 12 years and started a smaller brokerage, joined Compass 7 years ago now. Isn't that wild?
7 years.
As soon as Compass came to town. And have since grown a team of 7 full-time and 2 interns. I have 2 small kids. We live in Brentwood. I have a great husband. I like to go to the gym.
Love it.
And I like to do stuff with my kids.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. What are your kids into right now?
They're 3 and 5. So art, swimming, coloring.
Yeah.
They always have a marker in their hand, which is ultra alarming. Yeah, put the markers down. I don't know why we're running around with markers. Put them down.
Because our kids are
They're
about the
sweet.
same, so
Yeah.
5 and 3.
Yeah,
so
they're sweet.
Yeah, it's a fun age.
They are.
But what they're into, you're into.
Immediately. Yeah. My husband's like, I think we're going to go to the Lego place in Atlanta. And I was like, sounds exhilarating. We should do that. We should do that. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, let's dive into some of these questions, and then, we'll just see where the conversation takes us today. So, Megan, your team is a highly process-driven team, operating with approximately 25 written standard operating procedures, which is a big word.
Isn't that wild?
And it maps out your client journey from the initial call to the closing table. Clients consistently praise your team's responsiveness and constant communication. How have these detailed processes been essential in creating consistency and ensuring that every single client has the same high-touch, high personal communication and that has helped you achieve success with the Jernigan Group?
Yeah. So before real estate, I was in corporate world, and I had 2 huge corporate jobs. One was at TVA, and then one was at Children's Hospital. And I worked with the CDC while I was there, and so I think processes from those 2 careers were just ingrained in me. And the squirrel aspect of real estate can be incredibly distracting. Take your time from money-making activities. Yeah. And so I think that was just day one. Was like, I want to know what to expect, and if I want my clients to know what to expect, I need to know what to expect, and then we just kind of built from there. And then as far as hiring goes, you can't have employees, and you can't have agents, and you can't have a team and a company, because all of us run small companies, right? You can't have that without processes and expectations. And so if there is a client that I give to the team, I want that client to know and have the confidence that they're going to get the exact same processes, the exact same communications, the exact same level of service and advisement as they would if they were working with me directly. And so that's just I think the best way we can function. It also creates less chaos for the back of house, because when you are living in the chaos and the squirrel, and there is no, this is when you go to this employee for this, or marketing helps with this, or you handle that, then the agents can just call for random stuff, or there's no, when you turn in contracts for processing, and there's just no processes, and it's just chaos, and then you spend time managing the chaos instead of doing money-making activities.
Sure. I'm curious, when So how long have you had these operating procedures? Because I'm sure when you started, like most real estate agents, you're flying by the seat of your pants, right? When did you have the light bulb moment of, I really need to sit down and create this SOP for my team?
Yeah. And I really credit Tabitha, who's been with me for almost a decade, which is wild. I'm always like, please don't leave me. I really credit her with it because she will sit down and do the hard work, which is putting it on paper. But I think from day one, her and I, we've worked together for 10 years now. And so from day one, it was like, this is what we want this to look like. This is what we've seen for the past couple of years that can be very unorganized and very disorienting and just not enjoyable. And so I think it was a mixture of the both of us and why we work so well together. We also have completely different personalities. We have, if you look at our Enneagrams, if you look at our, have y'all ever done like the Gallup Clifton Strengths test and things like that? So interesting. We have completely different Clifton Strengths. So we really complement each other really well in that. And so I think it was just the both of us saying like, we don't want to live like this, and we have to kind of harness it. And then of course throughout the years, as things get more complicated, and you add more agents, you add more processes. And like when I went on maternity leave, my second time, then my first time was during COVID, so that was great. I was like, I'll FaceTime anybody, right? But the second time, it was like, I really want to step away, and I want everyone to feel like they have on paper what they're expected to do, and then there's no calls to me needed. Everybody knows their marching orders, and everybody can go do their jobs and feel confident doing that.
Yeah, and that's, how do you make sure that stays consistent? Like whoever you're hiring, the agents you're putting on your team, the folks who are the admin folks on your team that are doing outreach to clients as well potentially. How do you make sure that your high level touch stays consistent, and whether it's luxury buyer or first time home buyer or everybody in between, like how do you make sure that standard remains high and doesn't start falling?
Yeah, there's never one person in charge of one thing. And so there are a system of checks and balances. So our staff has checks and balances on each other, and then they have checks and balances over the agents. And so there's never just one agent working siloed.
Got it.
And I'm copied on everything. They always joke like that Kim Kardashian coming out of the bushes meme, like that's me. Because I'm like, I'm here, but I'm not commenting, but I'm copied on everything. And then you can kind of just, outside of that process oversight, you can kind of just tell. Like if there's chaos, you can feel it. If a client's not being communicated with, if an agent's like, I'm having a hard time managing my weekends, it's like, well then are you following this part of the process where we call every client on Friday at 9 and we say, what homes do you want to see this weekend? If they don't answer you until Saturday morning and you're booked, then you're booked. But all those kind of processes came from me having a hard time managing myself and learning and wanting no one to live. I mean, because everybody's gotten that 7 a.m. call. Can we see these 12 homes today on Saturday morning? And you're like, oh my gosh, let me race out of bed. Let me cancel my Saturday I had. Let me immediately sit down and schedule 17 showings. It's over. It's exhausting. And then print those out, meet the client. Like, it's just not doable.
Sure.
So a lot of it's like training our clients, but we train too. And so that we all just live in this like, control what you can. Because you can't control what you can't control, Yeah.
So give me just like a really specific about the checks and balances thing. I'm curious about that. Because I think a lot of teams, they think that people can just go and run on their own and not have checks and balances, and they put a lot of trust in team members to do that. And sometimes it works out fine.
Yes.
Other times it doesn't. So give me like a specific example, like who's the checks and balances for, let's say, if you have a buyer's agent.
Yeah, so checks and balances for buyer's agent is both me and Tabitha.
Okay.
And then for all of our like mini touches, we give some of those to our intern, and our checks, we have 2 checks and balances for that. There's Tabitha and Abby, my marketing. And I have nothing to do with that almost. I might need like an opinion every now and then, or they may need my opinion on something, but other than that, that is them. And then Abby and Tabitha checks and balance each other out. And no one, it's not an ego. Like there's no egos allowed. And so if you have an ego, it's not, this is not the team for you, because nothing can be taken personally. Like this is the system. And I assure you that if you implement it, your life will be smooth. Our clients' lives will be smooth, and everybody has time to sell more in a smaller amount of time. And that's the goal.
Yeah.
And that's where I think when I joined Compass, we were kind of stuck at 18 million. In the first year at Compass, I think we were at 45. And this year, I think we're slated, if everything closes, for 86. Yeah. So I think you cannot grow and not lose your mind if you are not organized and you do not have processes.
Yeah. Do you agree with that, Kristy? I mean,
Absolutely.
you run a large office.
Yes.
And so, in your opinion, is this one of their key differentiators?
Oh, absolutely. Watching your team operate is a thing of beauty. How you all, you work together, and you can just tell the care that y'all give to your clients in curating their closing gifts and their seasonal gifts and the client events you have. It's just a big difference in how you all run.
And I assume you probably agree, you've seen many different teams, sizes, shapes, ones that work, ones that don't.
Yes.
I mean, do you agree with Megan on all these things you're saying, like having an SOP, having checks and balances?
Oh, absolutely. You all definitely work smarter, not harder, and it does help you to increase your price point and increase your volume each year. Yeah. So it really makes a big difference where the chaos is controlled, because we all know real estate can be quite chaotic.
And you see the most chaos because you manage all of us. This is the queen of chaos, actually.
The queen of chaos. I like that.
It's a joy.
You see all the chaos. Yes, it is a joy, but you
it's
still manage the circus. Yeah.
And you've obviously had to adapt your processes over time.
Yeah.
I know that we tell a lot of agents that, just because day one they want to start a team, right? And they're like, I have to have everything perfect from day one. Yeah. And, I know we're always telling, potential team leads or the people that are doing this, it doesn't have to be perfect.
Sure.
It's going to change. It's going to evolve over time. Is that the advice that you usually give folks that come to you? Because I know you get a lot of agents that ask you about your team.
Yes. And a lot of agents that I think we all are on social media. We all want to be bigger, better, badder, right? And when you surround yourself with greatness, like Compass agents that have truly made me better and greater, I think it is like, well, that's what I need to do too. And maybe it's not. Maybe that's not the best route for you. And so I always ask people the same thing. I'm like, you want to start a team, tell me what your end goal is, and then let's back into it, because maybe it's not a team, maybe it's just a licensed assistant.
Yeah.
Or or a lot of people want to add buyer's agents first. They don't have a single process. There's one agent at Compass, and I will not name names, but he sells a lot in a specific area, and time after time he will call all of us and he'll say, what do I need to do? And we're like, hire a licensed assistant. And then he'll go hire a buyer's agent. Well, what you're doing then is you're adding more work without having any processes, without having anybody at the desk all day to manage that. And so then you're creating the chaos machine all over again, And
Love
so
that.
If you don't have, and then people don't thrive when there's not expectations,
Definitely.
If there's nothing to go back to, then it's all a subjective review. And it's like getting an employment review that's subjective is very discouraging. And so it's like, no, these are the processes. Tell me which part of this you're having trouble with. And we often try to look at it and we're like, okay, if something's not going well, is it the person or is it the process? And I would say 98% of the time it's the process, And if it is the person, that's a different conversation. But 98% of the time it's the process, and then we'll make a little tweak. But we're not the same team that we were 7 years ago when we joined Compass. So it's like the evolution of what's better and the type of clients you have, and
and we could talk about team formation all day.
Oh my
that could be a
gosh.
totally separate episode.
Gosh.
But
Okay.
But to bring it back to our main topic, which is your standard operating procedures. How do you keep the same high touch personal communication for all clients? Tell us, what is that process? Like, so I'm a buyer, day one. We've never met.
Yeah.
Take me from that moment to closing table.
Oh,
the
gosh.
best you can.
Oh my
I know it's a
gosh.
lot.
That's a 45-minute conversation.
I know it is, but
Yeah.
it highlights. Like, so I come in, you're like, we maybe have coffee,
Yes.
we have a phone call. What's the next step
Yeah.
from that?
We'll do an intro phone call. and with just me, and out for 10 minutes max. And then it's like, what's your price point? What's your area? What's your timeline? What's all that? I look at the 4 agents and say, who has the bandwidth for that? Or did they come highly referred, and this is one that I need to keep? And who has the bandwidth? Who does that area? Who does that price point? And then they're assigned. We sit down for either a Zoom or a buyer consultation. We have our buyer packages that we bring that has like our buyer guide, all the forms that they need to look through, buyer rep agreement, all that. And then that starts the checklist of like assigned to agent. They add that checklist to their business tracker because all of our checklists are uploaded in Compass. And they start the group text, they start the collection, they start the group email, they start the lender intro. They, we kind of we go through it. Every Tuesday we touch base. So we say every Tuesday you're going to hear from us between 11 and 12. So then they know.
Oh, very, like a specific time. Not
Specific
just a day.
time. And you know why I do that? Because it keeps me accountable too. Because if I tell someone, I will never not follow through. That is one thing about me. And so I felt like it kept me accountable to say they're going to hear from me from 11 to 12. I can block that on my calendar every Tuesday. And if they don't hear from me and I'm not following through with that, how can they trust me to be following through with all the other action items I owe them, right? Sure. So we touch base on Tuesdays. Sometimes a follow-up from the weekends of showing. Sometimes just like did you get what you needed from the lender? Just whatever it is. Friday mornings, we touch base 9 to 10 every Friday. We touch base with every client and we say, weekend is coming up. I'm scheduling my weekend now. Are there any homes you would like for me to add in a time block? And again, I think it's to help us have a work-life balance because it was the worst to look my husband in the face every Saturday and be like, I got to go do showings. And he was like, am I not important too? And I was like, that's a very valid question, right? So you do have to manage the chaos at some point. And if they don't get back to you until Saturday, then that's okay to say, I have booked this time, these times now, I have these times left. So Friday helps us plan for the weekend. After every set of showings, there is a follow-up, whether it's a text or an email. These were the houses that we saw today. Here was the immediate feedback. So we do that level of communication to where it's like, hey, Tyler, you really liked these are the 3 houses at East. This one you felt like had too low of ceilings and was too choppy. This one you didn't like the area. And this one was our top favorite today. You were going to go home and talk to your wife about revisiting it. And that puts the ball back in their court and also helps organize their brain because they don't do this every day. Sure. But also, again, this is all, I hate to say, it serves our clients, but it's also self-serving. Because if they want to go see another house that's choppy and has low ceilings, we can revert back in writing and say, you didn't love 1, 2, 3 sharp because of the same attributes. Do you think this is worth going to see? Or because of that, do you want to take it off the list? And then you're not just a door opener. You're strategically advising them because there are so many houses on the market. There are so many things to see, right? So once they're under contract, we have a whole process for writing contracts, but once they're under contract, then they go to our contract manager and they kind of manage that moving forward. We still touch base on Tuesdays and just what do they need from us? Is there any hanging chads? All of that. We do really thoughtful closing gifts. We try to personalize every one of them. We used to grab from the cabinet and that just became so impersonal. And then after closing, 7 days after closing, we check in. 30 days after closing, you get a thank you for working with us. We would love to work with people like you as well. Here's, if you would like to refer anybody or you think of anybody, we would love to hear from them. If they bought new construction, we have an automatic email that goes out 10 months after they purchase to remind them to get another home inspection because their warranty is about to run out. So we have all of those that we put in place at closing that kind of takes us through the next 12 months. They get added to our database under monthly mailer, under client event, or if they're a veteran, if they're a doctor, if they're a teacher, if they're a nurse, we just add those so that we make sure we touch them in our touches moving forward.
That's great. Thank you.
Of course.
Well, thank you so much for being our very first guest on the show.
Thanks for having me.
So exciting. Kristy King, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
And
Best broker.
It's been a pleasure.
Yes.
Well,
the Chaos Circus Director.
that's right, the Chaos Circus
every
Director.
day.
I'm going to put it on our desk.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. And do we have any closing remarks? Any closing remarks that you have? How do people get in touch with you?
Oh,
That's important.
very important.
Yes.
You can Megan.Jernigan at Compass, Jernigan with a J. Married into that name. That wasn't my easy last name. And then my cell. You can just go to our website too, jernigangroup.com. And there's contact info, things like that on there. But my cell phone is my cell phone, and I'm always on it, and I'll answer, and happy to help you or your clients.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, you're a wonderful, wonderful person, a great
Thanks
agent.
for having me.
Thanks
It's
for
been
being here.
fun.
Yeah, this is great.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's been a pleasure.
Yeah. Robert's happy with all the tools we use.
Yes.
That's all that matters.
You named them all.
Yeah, named them all. Named. I'm like looking at my post-it note about under my skirt. That's why I wore this big old skirt. That's my post-it note.
Well, all right.
Thanks.
Well, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.